Hey everybody, what's going on? So, Dylan Leslie YouTube channel. Today's new lens day. I got a new lens and I'm really excited about it because it's going to completely kind of change how I shoot stuff. Shooting right now on the Canon R6 with the, what is that thing? The Rode NTG video mic on top with a dead cat on it, on a tripod, normally. This is how I shoot all of my talking head stuff for my YouTube channel, for this channel, all that kind of stuff. It's a 24-105 lens. It's the kit lens. So this is, you know, just a normal kit lens. New lens. This is the Canon 16mm STM lens. It's tiny. It's the same size as my Nifty 50, which is pretty cool. It is native RF, so you don't have to use an adapter or anything. 16mm prime, it's really wide. But what I'm hoping is that I'll be able to kind of do more of my vloggy style stuff as well as the talking head stuff and have a little bit better frame to the pictures. First of all, let's get it on the camera. So, a couple of things that I should point out to you. One is, I've not moved. I'm standing in the same exact place. So going from 24mm to 16mm makes a massive, massive difference in how the frame looks, right? I have not changed. I've not moved forward or back. This is it. And I mean, I could come all the way up right here. It's minimum focus distance is insane. That's the length of my hand going like that. That's how close I am to the camera. Pretty stinking cool. A couple other things. This is an f2.8 lens, so we'll be able to get some pretty sweet bokeh background stuff going with it because I have here an ND filter that we'll be able to play with and really stop this thing down to like 2.8. The cool part is that the adapter ring that I use for my 50mm is the same for this, so we'll be able to use that right on there and we'll be able to get us some pretty sweet looking shots and see what happens. It's not stabilized, but the body is stabilized because I have an R6. So I kind of want to see going from a stabilized 24-105 STM to an unstabilized 16mm, but putting it on a stabilized body, see how that does. I've got an EOS R, which is not stabilized, so we'll check that out as well. Yeah, let's just try some stuff. Okay, so let's do a couple of tests. It's super sunny outside. So in order to get this baby to this 2.8 lens to be exposed halfway decently, even though the light is super harsh, it's like 9:30 in the morning and it's really, really harsh, I've got it stopped down to f13, which means basically everything is going to pretty much be in focus. It's going to just be a basic camera shot. So this is the rig right now. I'm using this is my EOS R to show you what it looks like. Now, if we switch over to the EOS R, this is the 24-105 lens, and it is stabilized. So if we are to walk around, for example, you can kind of see what that looks like. Now, the body's not stabilized, but the lens is stabilized. And so, yeah, I know the exposure is all messed up because of the harsh lighting, but the idea is looking at the stabilization. I've vlogged with this many times like this, but you can see how tight it is. So let's switch this camera with no in-body image stabilization to a lens with no in-body image stabilization. Okay, so this is the f2.8 16mm, no image stabilization on the EOS R. And we're gonna go ahead and make the same lap we just made with the other camera. And here's the reason I want to see is with no in-body image stabilization in the camera and no stabilization in the lens, is it still usable to vlog with? Because when you go through a wider shot like this, it is a little more forgiving than when you're really tight. But what do you think? Is it too shaky to use on an EOS R? That's a good question. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Now, here's the problem. We want to get some sweet bokeh on this thing, right? We want to get some nice background blur looking really good. In order to do that, we need to use an ND filter because it is so bright outside. So what I have is I have this adapter ring that we can use on this lens so that we can have an ND filter. So this is a 43mm lens thread, and this is a 77mm adapter that goes on my 24-105. But what I figured, so I could just use one ND filter, is just use this adapter ring. I'll leave a link to it in the description. You just get it on Amazon, super cheap. Boom, now we have an ND filter. So now what we can do is let's stop this down to f2.8 and get this relatively, it's still way too bright outside to be doing any of this. Oh, it's a 67mm filter cap. All right, so now we've got the ND filter on the EOS R6. We've got stabilization on in the R6. And now we have pretty nice background bokeh. At least for doing, you know, it's not 1.8. Yeah, that's pretty nice. That gives you a pretty nice looking shot. Now I know we are still way overexposed because it's super sunny out. Here's the problem, is if you end up stopping down an ND filter all the way to the bottom, let's see if I can do that, it starts to get a little weird. It starts to color the shot a little bit, and you can see a little bit of weird hazing in the sky and stuff. So I don't usually, that's why I don't like to shoot out in the middle of the day. So what we can do is we can go ahead and stop this down to 5.6 and let this ND filter come up a little bit. And probably be okay with that for shooting in bright sunlight. I don't like to go any darker than that. Maybe that's even a little too dark on an ND filter situation. Anyway, I just wanted to share a couple of the ways that you could use this new 16mm 2.8. Now, I didn't talk at all about stills. Maybe I'll do another video where we go out and we shoot some landscapes and do some still stuff. This is the way I'm personally gonna use this lens, exactly what you see right now. This sort of shot where I'm doing talking head stuff for YouTube. We do a news segment, so I would stand over to the side and have a graphic above my head right here. So I like that width. I don't feel like it warps too much. I've looked at the shots enough times. The first time I shot with it, I thought that the autofocus was a little too noisy, but I feel like that was a problem that I was having with something else. I don't think that was the issue. So I think it's pretty good. I'm pretty stoked on it, and I think it's gonna work. So anyway, I just wanted to run through a couple of paces. What do? We did an unstabilized body with an unstabilized 16mm lens. We did a stabilized body with the 16mm lens, and we did the 16mm lens with the ND filter with the little adapter. I can use the same ND filter on both lenses. Yes, that is pretty much how I'm going to use this whole situation. If you have any questions about it, put it in the link in the comments below. If you want to see anything else tested with this lens, please let me know, because maybe I'll do another video. Like I said, I think I want to go out and do like a landscapes, maybe some astrophotography, basic, I'm not very good at it, stuff, and try some stills with this lens, because there are people saying that there's other issues with softness in the corners and stuff, but I am pretty much just going to use this camera for video. Or this lens for video. That's my main thing. Anyway, thanks for hanging out, and I guess we'll see you in the next video.